This may come as a shock to a lot of you guys. I think I'm definitely in the minority in this case, but when it comes to going to concerts for musical artists, the ones I like anyway, I'm usually SOL. Let me explain. A lot of the music that I tend to gravitate towards, things that really resonate with me on an emotional, spiritual, all of that happy mumbo jumbo. Yeah, a lot of those artists, they really don't tour too much in the Northeast NYC area in particular. Now don't get me wrong, I do like a very wide array of music. I have no real particular genre preference. I can listen to anything. If you were to pull up the playlist on my phone, you would see that I can go from something like J-pop to bluegrass to Frank Sinatra to Skillet. It's just all over the place, man. And since a lot of the stuff that I tend to like isn't what is known as mainstream, usually they don't tour too much in my area. I know a lot of people think that New York is the center of the United States of America or the world, the greatest city in the world, but a lot of the artists that I tend to enjoy, such as Skillet, 1,000 Foot Krutch, Red, KB, Triple E, Toby Mac, a lot of those guys, they don't really come around here too frequently, which kind of sucks. So when a lot of people are posting photos saying, hey, I just saw X artist in concert, I just hung out with this dude there, I'm like, cool story, bro, but just seems like a lot more noise on the airwave. But everything changed yesterday when I went to my first concert, and that was the Anomaly tour by Lecrae. I want to give you guys a little bit of a history on me and Lecrae and how I found his music out. So I think around the time when I started listening to Lecrae, it's, I guess you could say, pretty recent. I mean, I've heard of the dude before in the past, in passing, when you're talking about the hip-hop genre, but never like sitting down and listening to him. It wasn't until I think maybe 2010, maybe 2011, when I really got interested in him, because for a while, me and the musical genres that I usually listen to on a daily basis, in particular, hip-hop, I'd kind of fallen out of it, to say the least. I mean, a lot of the artists who I had been listening to for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9+ years really weren't sounding the same. I just felt that a lot of them were too complacent in what they've been doing. It didn't feel like they were going the next step. They just felt like they were doing more of the same. They weren't talking about anything interesting. I'm not going to be one of those old fogies who said everything was better back in my day, but to be honest, if you're listening to a lot of the musical genres, especially hip-hop, yeah, a lot of things did tend to be better back in the day. Again, this is not a generalization to say that the entire genre as a whole has suffered, because it hasn't. Because if you listen to a lot of, you know, underground artists, independent artists, people on YouTube, you can see that there's still a lot of creativity and passion going around. The problem is the small minority that talks about the same complacent stuff over and over and over and over and over again is the minority that gets the most attention. I'm not going to sit here and name any names of particular artists, because I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. The people who go day in and day out talking about how much money they get, how many bitches they fuck, you know, how hard, how real thug gangster they are. Like, a lot of those things, I mean, normally I wouldn't have a problem if someone's talking about that stuff, but at the same time, it just feels to me like they're doing this just to show off. It just seems to me like there's no real reason and soul in their music. There's no passion. They're just doing this because they have a really big ego problem. It just seemed like they weren't talking about anything. To be honest, there is only so much I can tolerate from an artist who's featuring a lot of people on their track, and they're all talking about the same damn thing. I get it. The bank comes to you. You don't go to the bank. The women come to you. You got the fancy cars. Yes, that's nice. So do everybody else in the game. How I stumbled on Lecrae was pretty interesting. A friend of mine actually shared, I think it was one of his songs on Facebook. I don't know if I listened through it to YouTube or SoundCloud. I don't remember what it was, but I remember that I had that song on repeat for a very, very, very long time. And it was from there that I really started listening to a lot of Lecrae's stuff, because he was speaking with a lot of meaning in his songs. He was talking about all the things that a lot of the people in the hip-hop game haven't talked about for so many years. And it wasn't until I heard his most recent album, Anomaly, which dropped last year, that I knew for a fact that this dude was somebody who I wanted to see in concert. Because there was a song on there called Nothing that was exactly what I was saying for the longest longest time. That song is basically a blast of the entire music industry. The entire industry that has been complacent in talking about the same crap over and over and over and over again, and how this isn't really doing any good in the world. It's not a preachy call to arms saying you are required to do this because you have this influence. No, it's basically saying that it has to come from within, that you are better than the songs that you've created, because while you're talking about all of these things, subliminally, you're putting this into the perception of all the younger folk. You're putting this into perception that this is what they need to succeed in life. They need to be a thug, they need to be a gangster, they need to show their street cred. You know, it doesn't talk about, you know, all of the good things that can come out of life by you basically being a stronger person than the next guy. One of the main focal points from the song that really resonated with me was that all these artists are spending all this time talking about, you know, what these people need to do, but at the same time these people are regurgitating in the hood. They're suffering on the inside. They don't know what to do because they're so influenced by this music. And I know a lot of people out there say, well, you shouldn't be influenced by music or movies or video games because it's all just entertainment. But, you know, the fact of the matter, at the end of the day, music, more than movies, is held to a higher regard for influence for certain people. That is a proven fact. Everybody knows that. And especially with the hip-hop genre, everyone's talking that they made it when they really haven't in the grand scheme of things, because they're slaves to their money. They're slaves to their worldly possessions. They're not doing anything worthwhile of value to the world. And it was just like that. I heard that song, immediately bought the album. I went back and got his entire discography. And I knew that if there was never a chance that I would be able to see this man and watch him perform live, that I would take that opportunity. And I guess he works in mysterious ways. I actually got the chance because Lecrae announced his Anomaly tour, and guess where their first stop was? New York City, at the Best Buy Theater in Times Square. So for the concert that I went to, I actually went pretty crazy and I got the VIP Deluxe package. And what this gets is you get a lot of perks and amenities. First and foremost, the biggest one is that you get early access to the venue. So you get priority seating over everybody. That was huge for me because I'd never gone to a concert before in the past. So the fact that, you know, you get the priority seating, I'm like, yes, I am going to do this because I want to be as close to the stage as possible. I'm that kind of dude. I feel sorry for all the people who are behind me, but hey, 6'4", unashamed right here. And the next big thing that you were able to was you had a meet and greet with Lecrae himself. Now, for a person who's been pretty hardcore into his music for the past couple of years, I just flipped out of that chance and I immediately bought this. So you got the VIP package, you got refreshments, they catered the event, you're able to meet Lecrae, and you also got a free Anomaly t-shirt. And it was just awesome, dude. Meeting Lecrae, he was basically 100% how I pictured he would be. Lecrae is 100% genuine, down to earth. He's not one of those fake ass artists who, you know, will say something in the music, then he'll say something in the interview, and then when you see him in person, he's really not genuine at all. Lecrae is exactly how he is. If you see him in an interview on TV, and if you see him in person, he's just what he is. He keeps it 100%, which is more than I can say about a lot of the artists nowadays.
How you feeling to be in New York?
I love it, man. It's great.
You're real.
New York is a lot of energy. I like New York. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say Times Square is my favorite part of New York, but I like New York.
Best borough.
I'm not gonna tell you because I don't need any controversy. But anyway, I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all get some food in your system.
Yeah.
Welcome, man. Welcome to the Anomaly tour. I see some familiar faces, so some of y'all I've seen before. Right on. Yeah, right on. Again, well, tonight, you know, I don't know if you've been to any of our events. Have anybody been to any of our concerts?
Yeah. First time.
Okay, right on. Yeah. Well, this is we wanted to do something different, man. We wanted to create an experience, and we didn't just want to, you know, tell you what you're going to see, you know, or tell you what we want to communicate. We want you to experience it. So you're going to step into a story tonight. You're going to step into a journey tonight. And, man, we just hope that y'all enjoy yourselves, man. And ultimately, you know, we just wanted to paint a picture of purpose, paint a picture of worth and value, paint a picture of what it looks like when, you know, God takes something and breathes into it and you know, and we can, you know, be who we were created to be. And that's the whole idea of what an anomaly is being who you were created to be, not trying to be anybody else. You know, you're the best you to ever be, but you're a terrible somebody else, so don't try to be anybody else. Right. So.
And it was just awesome. One of the funniest things is that when we were queuing up for the meet and greet, I happened to be like in the 10 people who were closest to the front. First thing he says to me when I walk up to him and take the photo is that, you know, like, dang man, you got big shoulders like me, we gotta stick together. And I found that pretty funny because I know it's weird, you're not really seeing this now, but I do kind of have pretty broad shoulders for my, I guess, physique. I'm a pretty lean guy overall, but I just have these broad shoulders. And everybody says that to me, my mom, my coworkers, my friends, and you know, it was just funny. That was the first thing he commented on, so I just started cracking up, and it was honestly hilarious to see how genuine he is. And then after that, the show started. It opened up with DJ Promo. This guy, DJ Promo, knew what was up. He knew how to get people in that place bumping like they've been going all night. The adrenaline levels were through the roof, and by the time he was done with his set, like everybody out there was like, whew, man, and we're not even halfway done. Was great. I really loved listening to his remixes. And then from there they brought out one of my new favorite rappers, Andy Mineo. Andy Mineo, if Lecrae and Andy Mineo, if they're a duo, Lecrae, he says what he wants, but even he has a cap. Andy freaking Mineo, he just goes off. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He will do whatever type of music he wants. He doesn't conform to anybody's, you know, perception of who he should be. And that's something I really do like about Lecrae, Andy Mineo, and the entire group of people associated with that that record label. They are unashamed of what they do. It's no shocker to anybody that Lecrae and Andy Mineo, they are what people consider Christian rappers. When a lot of people have this particular perception of Christian music, they think it's all just gospel, kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya, when it's anything but that. When you listen to stuff that you wouldn't even think is Christian related, you know, it sounds so secular. Stuff like Lecrae, Andy Mineo, Skillet, 1000 Foot Crutch, yes, they have their religious, you know, influences and you can hear it in their songs, but it's not like it's pushing you away from the music, which is what I like, you know. As a person who is, I'm religious, I'm a religious guy, I do believe in a higher power. I'm not a person who forces my belief on others, obviously. But it's nice that they actually are doing what a lot of Christians don't do. I'm the type of Christian who calls out on all the phony, fake-ass Christians out there. All the Christians out there who, you know, say one thing and they do another. And there's a lot in this world, believe me. You know, they're those type too. They are not ashamed to do that. They are not ashamed to call out people who are against the religion. At the same time, they're not afraid to call out their own camp. You know, Andy Mineo does that all the time. All these corny ass Christians who come over here, they say one thing, saying that everyone needs to be more open about their faith and preaching and praising the Lord, doing God's work, but at the same time, they're being hypocritical and going after certain artists who are doing that. So no filter for Andy Mineo, I'll just say that. And what was really cool is that there were a lot of people in that show from different walks of life. There were people who were Christians, there were people who were secular, there were people who were Muslim, there were just all kinds of people there. And from all age ranges too. I saw some kids there, I saw some parents, I saw, you know, couples, older folk in like their 50s and 60s, a lot of young guys like us. And it just goes to show you that this type of music reaches everybody. It doesn't you don't have to put a label on a particular genre for it to reach somebody, because if it's good music, it will get there. And Man, I mean, I'll just say this though. Christians do go hard. Like, the majority of the people in there were probably Christian. They go fucking hard when it comes to all this dancing and shit. Oh my Lord. See, maybe this is what really does go on in church behind the scenes. Or maybe what should go on in church on a weekly basis. Once Lecrae got on stage, it was just, that's it, it's over. It was over, man. It was just all hype from that point on. Him and Andy Mineo were doing sets as well. And it was just non-stop hype. Everybody in there was going crazy and dancing, from the people on the top lounge to the people in the back to the people in the front. And Lecrae really did accomplish what he had set out to do. Lecrae wanted to make this not a concert, not just you listening to music that you've heard thousands of times before. I'm sure you guys have probably been to shows where you have the artists who just come there, just stay on stage, sing their thing, and then they go bye-bye. Nah, it was anything but that. They knew how to properly coordinate this thing. They had a lot of funny things in between. They were cracking jokes at one another.
She was seeing a 12-year-old, she was like, I got you! Oh boy, the dad who weighs like 300 pounds is taking a picture. You got it, honey! You got it! Don't touch there. Alright.
It wasn't just them staying on stage. They were going crazy. They were jumping around, just bumping everything. You know, Andy Mineo was crowd surfing. It was just all kinds of awesomeness. And then Lecrae just shows up in the crowd randomly and starts singing on the other side of the stage. Well, not even the other side of the stage, on the other side of the venue. So, man, it was just always keeping people on their toes. And, oh my God, it was definitely something that... It was something I'm not going to forget anytime soon. It was just so much fun meeting so many people who enjoy the same type of music that I like. And what was funny is that we all kind of gravitate towards the same thing, because, you know, we were all talking about the genres of music we were liking. And of course, you know, we were talking about, we like Lecrae and Andy Mineo. Then people mentioned Tadashi, and then Toby Mac, and then Toby Mac by association, Skillet, similar tone to 1,000 Foot Crutch, and, you know, someone threw in Red's name, so that was even better. They were just so genuine with everything that they did. They were talking about all the good, and they were also talking about all the bad. They were talking how everybody in here has been through tough times, or they're going to go through tough times. But the important thing is that to always pick yourself up and keep going. Just keep going throughout life. Scars was a really big part of their show. They were talking about how scars are often, you know, treated as a bad thing. You know, every scar has a story behind it, but in some cases those scars show that there were wounds there, and those wounds have healed, and it just shows that you've come a long way from when you were on that day when that wound was inflicted to you. And that was something that I think everybody in the world, regardless of what walk of life you are, that is something I think resonates with us all. So I know I sound like a fangirl right now, like, oh my God, I can't believe it, because my first concert was on Lecrae, and he was over here and he touched me and he said I had my shoulders. Oh my God, that was incredible. But in all seriousness, I really did enjoy it. It was even better that it was an artist that really resonates with me. I mean, I say I really do like a lot of things, a lot of movies, music, video games, but for me to go out of my way and actually go see somebody live, it means a lot. It's not just because they were in the area that I'm going to go, it's because I really genuinely wanted to. And it was just awesome, dude, and I'm so glad I was able to capture footage. I was so glad I was in the front row, which again was a fantastic thing. My first concert, I was in the very front row with little to no hassle whatsoever. And yeah, I'm not gonna forget this concert anytime soon. It was definitely an experience. Definitely an experience. Yeah, it's pretty cool.